I just said good afternoon, everybody, and I was on mute, but it wouldn't be another broadcast and race talk if we didn't have just a little bit of technical difficulties all the time. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dave Konchak, and I am the Director of Operations for my team Triumph and the race director for the 12 Hours of Road America and the Hairpin 100 Criterium race. Again, thank you for joining me. I just want to go over a few things today. A couple topics that we're going to be going through. We're going to be talking about the differences between the solo and team divisions or your registrations. We're going to talk about a little bit about pit lane, what to expect in there, and kind of going over a few of key items with our checklist that you should probably have if you're participating in the event. So let's get right down to it. 12 Hours Road America is coming up, and we're having these weekly talks each week to kind of go over a little bit about what to expect at the event. Just kind of going over everything from the grounds to awards to what we have going on today. So starting off right at the top, we're going to be talking about the differences in solo and team entries. So there's been a lot of questions on this, especially when you're catering around a 12-hour event. A lot of times in these endurance events where you are, whether you're running or cycling a very long distance, usually when there's teams involved, they think of as a relay. And although you can participate in this as a relay, the great thing about how we have this laid out is actually you can participate with your teammates during the same time. So if you are competing as a team, the similarities of that and or being solo is everybody's going to have a timing chip. Okay, so the same awards are going to be available whether you're on a team or solo. So if you're competing for the most miles, if you are trying to win the sprint challenge or the KOM challenge or a fundraising challenge, those things are all going to happen whether you are solo or participating as a team. Now, a couple advantages of a team, especially if you are in the cycling category, is you are going to be able to participate with your teammates at the same time if you'd like. And we saw a lot of teams doing this and working together to create that draft to be able to keep their teammates going. Now, while you are on a team, you are going to be awarded, you're going to have one team timing chip. Okay, this is for the run, duathlon, or for the cycling. And these chips they're on like a Velcro strap. That's what's going to get passed along. That's what identifies you differently, as to being on a team. That team chip is how you get awarded team miles, going for that team award with the most miles, etc. So let's just say you have a team of 10 and 5 of you want to go out there, crank out some laps for an hour, and then you want to take a break. The other 5 teammates could come out there and grab that team chip and go. Maybe the person with the team chip is ready to be done. They want to keep going. They get some other cyclists back out there and they just keep that draft going to kind of get those most miles. Okay, so the key to getting those top miles or anything like that with the awards is going to be keeping that team chip going. Same thing with duathlon, same thing with running. There's going to be times where you're going to be out there with that run. Granted, it's a 4-mile lap, but running with a partner always keeps you going in most cases. So if you have a handful of runners out there for your team, maybe you're going out there twos. That way, you got that extra push, you have that support to keep going. Maybe you're slowing down and you have that team chip and your partner's like, well, I can make wind right now. So you'll take that team chip, put it on, and maybe carry out the rest of that lap to save yourself a little bit of time and speed. And duathlon works the same way. The one thing, though, is that team chip, that's still just one. So you can't have, well, you could have runners and separate cyclists happening if they don't want to do both, but only one thing is going to count for your team itself, depending on where that team chip is. So you might have, a lot of times the duathlon teams will have both, that, hey, I'm going to run and I'm going to bike. But you might have a team that there are only cyclists or there are only runners. So you just kind of need to come up with your own strategy of when and who gets that team chip to be putting up, because you might have runners running while your cycling chip is out on the track. So with that said, form a team, find some friends to do this with, because everything that a solo entry can do, you can do as a team, and you can get a team discount to get your entry. So there's a lot of cool perks, between. Yes, exactly. Having that team discount, you'll have a special code you can pass off to your team. You can be eligible for team awards and then everything else. Okay, so the more the merrier. It's definitely a fun thing to be a part of a team during this. It's a lot of big smiles, camaraderie out there. The teams really make an event like this happen. So let's talk about the staging process. Whether your team or maybe you're just one of those people that have been like, hey, I'm going to pretty much be out there the entire 12 hours. And, where am I going to keep my stuff? How does this work if I need to stop and go to the bathroom, etc.? So let's bring up pit lane. Okay. Pit lane, as you can see in the image here, is going to be in the yellow boxes. Okay. That is also where all of our team tents are. As you can see by the orange course lines, the one that's following along the yellow boxes there, that's the cycling course. And the one that's perpendicular to that is the run course. Now, it does look like they have that intersection right there, but actually that's a tunnel for the run course. So you're actually going underneath, so there is no cross traffic, nothing to worry about there. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys a little bit where in proximity that is. So for the run course, when you're coming out of that tunnel, you'll be able to swing right in and get into pit lane or to the false grid. Actually, it'd be really close to your, where you're coming on and off in case you need to swap out socks, shoes, go to the bathroom, get some nutrition, charge a light, whatever the case may be, that's going to be close by. Once you come out of that tunnel, you'll see that there is your start finish arch is going to be just ahead of you, but you can just go into pit lane, go to your tent, do whatever you need to do, go to the bathroom. And then once you cross that, it's just going to count your lap to go back over. We don't have a fastest lap this year for the runners, so there's no need to, I have to cross, that before I take a break. You want to be able to cross that, always completing or going back onto your lap. Because again, we're counting laps out here. Your mat's going to be there. Then you're also going to have your halfway point or your KOM challenge out there for your timing. So we know, exactly how many miles you have put in. For cycling, same thing. Whether you're on the racetrack, doing laps, as you're coming up the hill, you're going to see a split in the road. And if you're going to follow it to the right, that's going to be going up into pit lane. You're going to come off. There's going to be bike racks and stuff there that you can mount your bike, as you can see here. So the course line up and down there, that's the actual track. You'd be coming off in between the bike rack and the tents. So you can park your bike at the racks, or maybe you have a bike stand, shop stand or something like that in your tent, doing some repairs or whatnot. But whether you're in the tent or you're at the bike rack, you put that in there. You can use the restroom, do whatever you got to do, taking a break, have some food, listening to the band. Once you come back into pit lane, grab your bike. You're going to head back out, and you're right back into the course. So there are timing strips going into pit lane or at that start finish line, so we know where to count your laps. So don't worry that you didn't cross the timing strip. The timing strip at the start finish, which is basically where that intersection is that you can kind of see at the top of the screen. It's roughly where that start finish is, but there's a concrete wall there dividing pit lane and the actual course. You don't have to cross that. You don't have to go backwards. You just keep going forward. We've already counted your lap as soon as you go into pit lane and you're ready to go. Again, don't worry about transition times. That's not a factor. That we're not counting transition times here. We're counting your miles. Very simple. Worked out great last year. We had a few hiccups in the first year, but of how to really work pit lane really well. But this really, really works for us. Now, talking about those team tents, some people are like, well, how do I get into one of those team tents? And, where am I on all that, etc. When you register, or if you already registered, there's going to be a section in registration that's called an add-on. For those add-ons, you're going to be able to, reserve a campsite if you'd like to camp. And 2, it's going to ask you if you'd like to reserve a spot for team tents. Now, the team tents are going to either be 10 by 10 or 10 by 15. Those are going to be labeled in that add-on section. The team tent areas that do not have electrical close by, those are just going to be free to reserve, and I believe there's a small fee for the team tent areas that have electrical. Okay, so you want to reserve those ahead of time, because once they're gone, they're gone. We don't have any other space for that. We do have quite a few spaces available, but once they're gone, they're gone. So we cannot guarantee that we will not sell out of those reservation spots, whether they're free or not. And you show up on race day and you'd like to put your tent up and they're all gone. We can't do anything about it at that point. Okay. So make sure that you reserve that. You put together a team later on. You say, hey, we want to do this and add this on. You go into your Run Sign Up account, click on your profile, find our event, and you can go in and back and add those add-ons still. Same thing with our store. You can go back in and buy items. You can switch around, things for campsites, etc. All that's available to go back into your account if you've already, registered for the event. So let's talk about, these are going to be some pretty important things as far as, checklist. What do I bring? What do I bring to something like this? And, I get these questions a lot, and everybody is different, on how they prepare for these long endurance type events. One thing is that we're pretty unique as far as whether you're doing 10 miles or 200 miles, every 4 miles, you're back to, back to your start. So that's basically like getting a water stop or nutrition stop every 4 miles, including kind of your own personal sag spot, right? So in pit lane, where your tents are, again, some have electrical, some don't. Some people really want that electrical because they're plugging in phones, or they're having devices they want to plug in and charge, or they have some lights going on. Other people just bring battery packs. Okay. to charge the things, or maybe multiple lights, or their light's going to last long enough, or their bike computer, etc. So for your bike, we do require that you have lights on your bike. No strobing lights, okay? No strobes on there. Put a front and rear light on your bike. Again, we do not want any blinking lights out there. That does cause a pretty big distraction for other riders. But that front and rear lights are a must. For runners, you have a couple options for your lights, because it is pretty dark out there anyways. But either a headlamp, see a lot of those lighted vests, LED vests that people ran with, or even like the hand torches that people will run with as well. So you'd want to have some type of light out there, one to be able to see, and one for people to be able to see you out on the course. Repairs are needed, especially when it comes to bikes. So you're going to want to be able to bring a multi-tool or some kind of a tool kit that you have. Multi-tool obviously works great. You can stick in the back of your bike pocket or somewhere on your bike, and always have that available. Yes, we do have bike repair. We do have a SAG out there, thanks to our sponsor, Broken Spoke. They will be out on the course. They'll circle around here and there with their van. Plus, they will have a tent area set up in case you need any kind of repairs. Bike pump, that's a great thing to have in your team tent, or CO2, etc. You don't forget your helmet. Helmets are required when you're biking to have it out there. Spare tubes, of course, unless you're running tubeless, and you're going to want to have some kind of a plug kit. If you're looking to hook up power, extension cord, you might not be real close to where that outlet is. So you're going to want to bring an extension cord, maybe bring a power strip to be able to hook all that stuff up if you're in one of the electrical locations. And your nutrition. Yes, we will have food out there. We will have, bananas and water and things like that. We'll have noon hydration out there again. But you're going to want to have your own nutrition as well. You never know what's going to, some of the things that we might have might not work for you. A lot of times, you train these long hours. You want to find out what works best for your stomach. And then if something does go wonky, you always have that, something to switch over for your food. Or maybe I like to call it my comfort food. I'll be eating some pizza or some broth. That's good stuff. That's what works for me. But yeah, you're going to want to figure out what your nutrition is and what works for you for that. And again, if you're in those team areas, bring a pop-up tent. Those are going to either be a 10 by 10 or 10 by 15 area that is allowed for there. We had some questions last year about how those tents worked with the duathlon. We have some pretty unique locations for the duathlon tents that are basically as close as you can to the run and the bike portions, whether they are north or south of getting on and off into each side of that tunnel, I should say. So right where that transition is. So we made that as a designated area this year for duathlon, so that you didn't have to worry about, hey, where can I have my bike? But I'm going to be so far away running, etc. We made those spots nice and close for you guys this year. So super excited about that. Feel free to throw, some people had some like solar lights or LED lights or whatever on their tent. Putting balloons up like you would, some people do that on bike racks in some events so they can find their way. But, so you know where you're at. We definitely want you to be able to find your tent very easily, know where you're at on that. And hey, who knows? Maybe there's going to be a contest or something this year for like best decorated team tent area. I mean, we're going to have fun here. This isn't just all business. We want to have fun. Yeah. Or you're fired. You are fired if Jacob will fire you if your tent's not great. If you're not out there having fun, you're out of here. So, hey, too, if you guys have any questions or anything, don't forget, pop something in the comments on here so we can, either talk about it now or respond to that. Al, great info. Oh, exactly what I was looking for. Perfect. Excellent. This is a brief list. I mean, my lists are always huge when I'm doing an event like this. I like to be over prepared, but these are some of those necessities, some things that we require, and then other things that just, hey, might speed things up. Yes, again, thank you, Broken Spoke, for being out there, but you always can't be where we are at all times. So if you can do some of your repairs to get you by in the meantime, keep you going, that's exactly what you want to do. So that kind of goes over really what I wanted to talk about today, solo versus team, how pit lane is, and that brief checklist. One other thing I wanted to talk to you about, we were talking about, especially with the teams and trying to get more people out there. Well, what other advantages are there? Well, we decided to do another way to be able to participate free. So one, we talked about a couple weeks ago, you can fundraise. If you Dan, bring extra lights. First, your mind died a few hours in the night. Oh, absolutely. Dan, I totally hear you there. Some people, they've had their lights and they're like, oh, I've gone on hours bike ride and it's ran all night. But have you gone 12 hours? And has it ran for probably 10 of those 12 hours to be on? So, whether extra batteries, external batteries, like Al said, extra lights, I saw some people, they just brought two lights. So they'd always have one charging and they'd be using one, they'd flip flop and, halfway through the night, they were good to go. Same thing, battery packs, so that external batteries for your bike computer. Yes, we are tracking you, but I know a lot of folks out there that are all about, hey, if it's not on Strava, it didn't count. And if your bike computer dies, did you really do it? I mean, I know I'd get questioned for sure, but yes, charge your bike computer, have an external battery possibly that you're putting in a top tube bag or taping onto your bike that you can plug in, or if you're taking a break, plug your bike computer in. Not all bike computers are created equally. Not all of them can last 12 hours, especially if you're running heart rate straps, power meters, etc., all those things on there. So kicking back to what I was just talking about a little bit was, we were talking about fundraising a couple of weeks ago. You can be in Victory Lane Experience. That's a fundraising way to be in free. Another way was, hey, I registered. I'm using the fundraising page that was created for me automatically. I raised $300. I got a refund. Now I'm free. We're adding one more dynamic to this. Refer 5 friends. Refer 5 friends to participate in any of the events, whether they are fundraising in Victory Lane Experience, whether they're doing the 2-hour or they're pay to ride, pay to run, pay to duathlon like you did. Refer those 5 friends. You will then be credited back your registration fee if you hadn't already from fundraising. Okay, it's going to be really simple to do. We're going to be pushing out email to everybody that's already registered. We'll have some stuff on social. We'll have things on our registration page. We'll have information on our website. You will see this flyer that's right over here. Participate for free. Refer 5 of your friends. You'll get a registration refund. So there's a few different ways. What's going to happen with this is, one, you're going to get an email when you register, and that'll come up. For those of you who've already registered, what's going to happen is, I believe I just had sent all of those out. You should have gotten an email just recently in the last few days that activated your referral code. If you didn't see that, or maybe it's in spam or you just deleted it, that's okay. But down towards the bottom of this flyer, there's going to be instructions on exactly how to find your referral code. So you're just going to go back into your Run Sign Up page. You're going to click on your profile. You're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. There's a runner's link. And whether you're running, cycling, duathlon, it's under the category runners links, and you'll see my referrals. When you click on my referrals, you'll see any event that you are registered through Run Sign Up for that has a referral link set up. You'll see 12 Hours of Road America. You'll click on that, and then it will give you your links to registration page, links to the registration site. Those both have your codes embedded into it, okay? You can't just send your code. You have to send the whole link. And then it also has quick tabs to Facebook, Twitter, or sending out emails that will automatically embed that link for you. So super, super easy to do. And what? 5 friends? 5 friends and you get a free entry? That's great. That is phenomenal. Super, super easy to do. So get your friends involved. Everybody should be here. This is going to be super, super fun. And earn that free entry. Again, more details to come on that, social and email, really defining how to find your referral link or how to use it, how to see your how many referrals actually came through, how many people registered that you referred back to us. Al, I came in late. Sorry if it was covered already. Length of extension power cord. Al, that's a really good question. I would say that the longest cord probably would need to be like a 50-footer. But you could be really close and you might not be. And there's no way for us to be able to 100% identify, if I'm on this Team Tent 23, like how far I'm from that power. So if you are really, either maybe you want to bring 2 50-foot cords or 50 and 25, whatever, maybe bring cords up to that 100 feet just to be safe. But chances are within 50 feet, you'll be able to plug in. I know some people were piggybacking off each other too last year. So one team tent would have a long cord and then they'd have a splitter there. And then they were kind of fueling or powering up both 2 or 3 tents off of that splitter so that they didn't all have to run those long cords through there. But really good question. Thanks for asking and bringing that up. But bring a few extension cords. If you can bring cords totaling up to 100 feet, I think you'd be in good shape. All right. So again, solo and team, we went over today, pit lane, our checklist, our new referral program. So refer back to this video. This will be posted in all of our social sites again. If you forgot anything or if you think of a question later on, post something in the comments and we will definitely get a hold of you through there. And anytime, go ahead and email me. My email is also linked through the registration site, so you can click there, ask us any questions, and that will go to me, and we'll definitely get those questions answered for you. So if there's no more questions for right now, I just want to thank you again for tuning in to our weekly race talk, and I will see you next week at noon. Take a slide, on your zone every day.